Mr.
John,
Nate Scott.
go ahead, Nate. Let's go for Nate.
Okay, let's go for Nate. Hey, that rhymes. Go for Nate. Hello, Nate. Welcome to the wellness party, sir. You can lower your hand, but we salute you, right? Retired U.S. Army, went to West Point. Am I right, sir? West Point, please share with us your story. How did serving this country affect you emotionally, mentally, physically, and how has the club been able to enhance your life?
Great evening, everyone. So glad to have the opportunity to jump on with you. Now, I must give a disclaimer. There was a point in time in which I put on my picture and had to walk away because I did not realize, and I still don't realize, those things, those things
I'm here for you, bro.
that impact me.
I got you. I got you. Deep breaths.
So to that end, I'm staying on, but what I know that I can't do and won't do is
Please mute
go
your
through
line.
those
Hold
things
on,
that
Nate. Hold on, Nate. Please mute your lines, you all. This is a serious matter. And this is emotional. And this is heavy for some. And these people who've served our country are reliving an experience right now. They don't have to be here. They volunteered their time to share with you so that you can have your life enhanced or somebody in your family can get help. So I'm sorry, Nate. You can proceed and you can take your time. We're going to be here tonight. It's like church. We're just going to let the Lord lead. You can leave at 10 o'clock if you wish. We all grown. Please proceed.
so the bottom line is that yeah, I don't know those tricks.
See, we're dealing
But
with triggers right now. Go ahead, Nate. Go ahead.
when I hear, because I don't go to those places, I don't. My wife, she doesn't get any conversation with me uh about my time. She'll ask me what she'll watch, movies and military movies, and then she'll start asking questions and uh and I don't engage. Um, and I know she's on right now as well, but that's the deal. I my backstory is simply this. When my basketball scholarship fell through coming out of high school, I turned down my academic scholarships and enlisted in the Army. I turned down my academic scholarships, enlisted in the Army because that was my goal. That was my end state. As soon as I got my unit in Germany, I immediately enrolled in college courses, continued to play sports. As a result of that, one of my professors, her husband was a West Pointer. She knew my company commander, and they approached me about the idea of going to West Point. I had no intention of going to West Point, had a disdain for West Point officers. Malcolm X was my shaping years. And so to that end, I didn't believe that those that were speaking with me, that they were going to follow through. But I said, I'll play the game. And so they kept putting paperwork in front of me. I had the background, and I got a knock on the door soon thereafter. That process began, and the call to go serve in combat. And I found myself at 19 walking the perimeter during Operation Desert Storm. And Troy gave indications of what that looked like. Um, but I found myself walking the perimeter during Operation Desert Storm, and I said, Lord, if you allow me to make it back, I'll never waste a day of my life. And so when I got back from serving, got back to Germany, got the appointment to West Point's prep school, still had no intention of going. But on February 26, 1992 at 10:30 a.m., Rhode Island Benjamin Franklin T made a decision to go, saying that I'd go to show them what soldiers were really like. Because you're talking about young men and women coming out of high school that were being brought into a program and they just don't know what they don't know. And so I took on that responsibility to go to give them a real world perspective of what they were getting ready to go into. That it wasn't about those degrees. It wasn't about these benefits. It wasn't about all the things that, you go do 20 and you got this life set. No, what your call is about service. And I did well. I was a regimental commander at West Point. There's a brigade of 4,000 cadets, 1,000 per regiment. As a black man at the academy, that was wearing those 6 stripes on that picture. That's who I am. That's that guy. The week that I graduated from West Point, I got introduced to the world of personal growth and development and entrepreneurship, and it forever changed my life. Not because of an opportunity, but because I never knew about picking up books and going to seminars, being around successful people. It was that mental stuff that helped me through and through, that personal growth and development that I've been engaged in since 1996, that I scream from the mountaintops about. Because take away my West Point degree, engineering and sociology, take away my MBA from George Washington University, financial planning from Georgetown University. When I learned to pick up books and go to seminars being around successful people, that's what laid the foundation for everything else I've done in my life, including making my first million at 32. I went on to serve as an infantry officer, Ranger. Again, as a black man in the infantry as a Ranger. Yeah, that's that story. But I always knew that I was career by day, meaning I was on the path for general officers. And in fact, my classmates right now, they call me the general during my days. I've got about 14 classmates right now that are general officers. My classmates right now, the dean of academics at West Point, the commandant of West Point. We just now celebrated 223rd year, Founders Day dinner. When I got out of the service, it was because I knew that if I had a family, I wouldn't stay in because of what my experiences were. I knew my assignment, my job. And so when I transitioned, my last duty assignment was the old guard at Arlington National Cemetery, serving in the presidential detail. I left the service, and transitioned and moved to Jacksonville, Florida. When I got exposed to Melaleuca back in 2015, I knew of the company for over 20 years. I didn't look at it because of how people approached me. But when I finally saw the information in its entirety the right way, I immediately said I thought it would fit my program because I was already teaching people that finances are 80% behavior, 20% know-how. I said, if I got people to shop online, that means you're looking at your expenses. If you're looking at your expenses, you're able to track your expenses. And tracking is the first step to creating a budget. And so I opened up the account for $19 a year. In fact, it was $29 when I got started. I got the home conversion pack because my intention was actually getting the full value so I could evaluate the pricing of the products, the quality of the products, the cost of shipping, and customer service, because I knew if I could prove those 4 things, then I have a great tool to show people how to implement what I teach in my book, which is Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth. And that means, and to talk about how that journey has been for me, life is rich means I live in fullness every day because I realize I'm Christ's heir. And the significance of that is that it was that experience in combat at 19 that I said, Lord, if you allow me to make it back, I'll never waste a day of my life. So I'm walking with this every day. That's how impactful it's been. And I got out in 2001. I didn't get to VA until 2016 because of the prodding of my wife. I did not, that was not the culture that I was a part of. As this guy jumping out of airplanes, as this, again, go Google Rangers, just go look up different movies, go see to get perspective of what I'm speaking of as far as what I've been trained to do. That that doesn't go away.
Wow.
So that I have to be intentional about holding it together, not for me, but because I'm aware of what I'm able to do and unaware of those triggers.
Sure.
And so to that end, I simply say that the man cave and the community in general, those things in which enable that has enabled me to be in a culture with standards and professionalism and the manner in which we go about doing what we do, and then having that place that we've established for camaraderie and for men to be men and to open up and to be transparent from all walks of life and to be there for, if nothing else, just for community, is so needed because men oftentimes don't have places like that.
You got that right.
Yeah.
That man cave's amazing. And Troy, thank you and Nate, just for leading men in a safe place to share. Right. And if you're married, you ladies, you can get on there. But if you're not and you're single, like me, you can't get on unless you're invited.
What you
But
say, Coach?
I said, unless you're invited. I said the wives can come if they're married to the man that comes to the man cave. Am I correct? Or has that changed?
So men on Saturdays live in the man cave only, unless we have a female speaker like yourself, then all the ladies can come. But Nate, I want to point out something for Nate real quick.
We can bring Nate back. We need to hear what product he's taking at the shop club. But go ahead, Troy.
If you heard him say he hadn't sought out the resources for help, mentally, emotionally, physically, all those things for years, because we're not built and taught to do that. We're taught to be, we're okay. You're okay. All those things, left foot, right foot, keep it moving. Like it's great for combat. It's terrible for civilian life transition. And you got a lot of wounded warriors out there, mentally, physically, emotionally. And I need y'all to, in this wellness space that we're in, to be tapped in to when you meet someone in that space, connect them to the environment that we have here in the man cave. Let those men, and make the women also know, in my home, every other Monday, I have veterans in my home for community. 5,000 members at our church, people get swallowed up. They're not in the community. They might go to a game night or this, that, or whatever, but we build it here. It is imperative for people out there. We look good on the outside. We're wounded and broken on the inside. We got personal development and disciplines. Right, Nate? We got disciplines. Oh, we put our teeth in something. We're going to do what we said we're going to do. We're going to commit to the commitment. But back to Nate, in the wellness company, what products and services have you utilized that have helped you, not just in your personal, but in your mental, physical, and emotional?
Yeah, and again, my first business was as a personal trainer, so that's a lifestyle thing. And so the things in which was specific was that I'd never taken any vitamins as a personal trainer. And when I made a decision to open up the account in 2015, I took the Peak Performance Challenge because it came with clinicals and a 90-day money-back guarantee. And because I go every 6 months for my physical, that fit right into my regular action steps. And so the Peak Performance Vitamins Total Health Pack is my #1 recommendation. And the other thing that was pivotal for me to start opening up my mouth was when I read the lung damage study in 2018 that said cleaning your home just once per week with certain products, bleach, ammonia, scrubbing bubbles, Tubman towel, Pine Sol, Lysol, Fabuloso, has the equivalent impact on your lung capacity of smoking a pack of cigarettes per day for 20 years. Well, you see, I grew up in the South in Georgia, and if it doesn't smell like bleach, then it's not clean. Well, my mother-in-law is a breast cancer survivor. My father-in-law passed away from pancreatic cancer. My grandmother passed January 12, 2020 after bowel cancer, and my wife's sister passed November 1st, 2020 after bowel cancer. I knew that I grew up using certain products, which is what I was using as an adult, and I was glad that I'd made the switch 3 years earlier, so my kids were exposed to something new. But I felt an obligation to start sharing specifically with people because the number 2 killer of vets is cancer. And so I started being intentional about communicating that by saying, if nothing else, just get the poison stuff out of your home. And so the shopping club is not, I mean, it's truly, truly something that I believe everyone should be aware of. And I don't think there's any smart reason for anyone to say no to saving money, saving time, getting better quality products. Absolutely none at all. And so we use everything. We love it so much. We got 2 accounts in the same household because my wife was my client before she was my wife. And so don't talk to me about that you don't shop that much or you can't afford it. It's priced right.
And you and I are mirror images of ourselves from we have 2 accounts, because I wasn't married when I met my wife and we became Mel Lukens, and so forth and so on with yourself. And the same thing with the EcoSense line, the toxins. That was our first thing because I lost my mom 6 months prior to lung disease, lungs damage. Lost my dad to lung damage, lost his wife to lung damage. So getting the toxins out of your home, making it safe for our family and our children, our grandchildren, and also our wellness all together with peak performance and all the other supplements that are here. So, we have the same story, and that's why we connect. And of course, our military backgrounds, we connect so synergistically well. And I graze and grow from you at a whole nother level for impartation that you give me as a friend daily, right? But more so that you deposit into the man cave every single week, you and Derek Clark. So, man, I just want to take the time to say thank you for your service. Brother, I got you covered all times in prayer and in love and camaraderie. And you're invaluable to us here in this space with melluca.com. And we look forward to hearing more from you. Thank you for your vulnerability and your transparency and sharing with us today, brother. It's been powerful.
Thank you.
Extremely powerful.